And what's up, and welcome back to another episode of The Boss Life with Bonds. I am your host, Siobhan the Sage, or Bon Bons, as friends call me. And we're going to be finishing up the topic of toxic femininity, part 2 today. If you missed part 1, I highly recommend that you go back and get caught up on this, because a lot of us are completely unaware of just how cut off we are from our power. And I know the best way to get your attention is with a word like toxic, because we're so used to attributing toxic behaviors to the masculine, even though we know damn good and well, ladies, that we can be toxic. So before I get into today's episode, I wanted to announce a few things. Number one, I want to remind you guys about the retreat that's going down this October. I'm so freaking excited. Like, I don't know what to do. We will be there from a Friday and then we'll leave on Monday. It's going to be a weekend of sisterhood, being able to do morning meditation and exercising together and having breakout sessions and playing in nature, just having journal time, having time to meditate, having time to tap into your true goddess energy so that you can come back restored, and be that fully embodied version of yourself so that other women can see you and be inspired to do the same thing. So if you are if you are in need of an awakening, like full mind, body, and soul, I highly recommend that you reserve your spot. We've got about 6 spaces left. So if you haven't done so already and you're on the fence, fuck around and find out. Okay. The next thing that I wanted to bring up is that, and I know I'm really calm today, and that's because I just got done meditating, because I didn't want to touch this topic without like wisdom from above. Like, I wanted to make sure that everything that comes out of my mouth is exactly what someone needs to hear and not just what I want to say. I'm also on my medicine. You guys can probably tell. Look at those eyes. So in a few minutes, I'll probably throw these bad boys on too. But so retreats. The other announcement is that we're doing a summer self-love series. This is the first time I've ever done anything like this. And there's going to be 5 master classes. They're going to be about 60 minutes long. They will be on the Saturdays throughout this summer. Each class is only $33 each. You can grab them all ahead of time if you want to and bundle it. Different topics are going to be the things I'm always talking about, right? The importance of mindset mastery and how to go about doing that work on your own. I'm not going to do it with you. I'm going to give you all of the tools and show you what worked for me. I'm also going to show you how to do shadow work and how to do inner child healing, because again, it's called the self-healing series. So I want to give you those tools so that you're not reliant on, because I said it, or this influencer said this, or whatever. Like, these are just like the standard tools and steps that you would take if you wanted to do this sort of inner work. And then, of course, we're going to talk about feminine embodiment as well. So if you are listening to the show on podcast or on Spotify or Apple Podcast, you can go ahead and just click on my landing page. It's mindandbody.co/Siobhan, and you'll get all of the details about the self-healing summer series. Okay, and then last but not least, something that I'm super excited to do, and I don't know why it's taken me so long, mainly because I've always been in go, create energy, because I just have so much creative energy. And if you understand human design and you knew what my chart looked like, you'd be like, oh my gosh, this makes sense. So I've created a butt ton of courses and master classes for my clients, or for just different things that were a part of a program that I pulled out and was like, hey, this is super beneficial. Someone needs to see this. So we have a freebie library that I'm opening up now. This is perfect for anyone that's never taken an online course from, outside of school. And you're wondering, should I spend money on that? Is that something that I'll get value from? Not only that, they're just fucking great resources. So the ones that we're going to have in the freebie library, these are my favorites too. Unfuckwithable Mindset. We just did that. This is a brand new one. I just did this. Unfuckwithable Mindset. If you are someone that struggles to be the master of your thoughts, or if your emotions, or if certain thoughts can literally just take you on a downward spiral and you want to know how to get control of that, Unfuckwithable Mindset, that's going to be in the freebie library. I also did a recent masterclass on self-sabotage this past Monday, and I'm going to show you the tools that you use for recognizing and overcoming the cycle of self-sabotage. Excuse me. Those are more mindset based. The rest are going to be more fitness and health related. We've got Secrets to Burning Fat, where I talk about the link between stress, your nervous system, and your metabolism. We're going to be talking, we've got 2 free workshops on there. The 4-day Check Yourself, which is a 4-day, exactly what it sounds like, checking in with yourself, slowing down, and reconnecting with your body. And then we also have the 4-day Glow Up Workshop, which is that last one on crack, right? We're talking about glowing up from the inside out in an accelerated pace. That workshop's on there as well. And then one of my favorites when it comes to the health and nutrition, and it's a macros mini course. So if the word macros like intimidates you, overwhelms you, or makes you feel like, this course is for you. I break it down, make it really simple. So all of these will be available on the Mind and Body Freebie library. Once that is up, that link will be in the show notes. And if you're watching this live and you're like, oh my God, I want that, drop your email, right? Because what we're going to do is we'll go ahead and put you on our email list, and then you'll have access to those courses. You can drop your email in the comments if it's live, or you can just wait till the podcast comes out, or go to my link in bio. There's like 1,000 ways, but all of this will be in the show notes. Don't worry. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into today's topic, toxic femininity. When I think of it, the easiest way to think of it is the opposite of goddess energy, right? If you got to check out part 1, I talked about what goddess energy looks like, right? She's confident, she's grounded, she's intuitive, she's caring, she's nurturing, she's patient, she's all of these, she's creative, she's in flow, right? She's got a rhythm and a flow to her. Everything doesn't have to be super structured. It doesn't have to be haphazard either, but she's got her certain flow to her. I even gave you the analogy of, think of the feminine as more on a lunar cycle. When you think of the masculine, I want you to think of the sun, how the sun comes up, it rises and it sets every single day around the same time. You know that's going to happen. The moon is like, maybe it's a full moon, maybe it's a half moon, maybe it's a new moon, maybe it's a harvest moon. Like, that is how the feminine energy is. And when you can accept that, that you are not meant to be and function and move the way that they do, you'll be able to give yourself so much more grace. But we fall into toxic feminine energy, or out of our, our healthy, our balance, our, what's the other word I like to do? Healthy, balanced, those words, energy. When we're there, everything just flows better for us. So when we're talking about the opposite of goddess energy, it's basically the shadow, or the toxic feminine energy is basically the shadow. And so the ones that I wanted to highlight on today's podcast, like the ones that come top of mind right away, are things like pity parties. What does that look like? Looks like the female that's always throwing a pity party. And that was me. Oh my gosh. The whole world needed to know what I was going through and how much it hurt and how this always happens to me and nobody understands. And this was a constant. I didn't realize that I was like this. And it's pretty embarrassing to look back on, but it's also inspiring to know that I'm not that person anymore. But toxic feminine energy looks like the one that's always having the pity party. The damsel in distress, the one that's always needing or wanting to be saved because she doesn't believe in herself or her ability to get out of situations. To me, that's very toxic, because you, right, you woman, get to create a whole life within your body, multiple lives if you want to. So to think that there is a problem on this earth that you would not be able to solve with this abundant creative energy that rests within you, that's just fucking crazy to me. I don't know what else to call it, but there we go. And then the last one that I got like 2 more that I really want to touch on, is attention seeking energy. I want to clarify something real quick too. It is a feminine attribute to want to be seen, especially in regards to service. I'm not saying that every person or every woman that is doing acts of service loves to showboat. But what I mean by that is, I'm going to give you the funny definition, and then I'm going to give you the real one. The funny one that I think of when I think of feminine energy wanting to be seen is like, I'm literally blessing your day, right? Like when I see a good looking man, female, cat, dog, I'm like, Look at you, all beautiful and whatnot. Look at God's handiwork, right? It's a blessing to others. So when I get dolled up and look good, like, yeah, I want people to see, I want them to admire, and there's nothing conceited necessarily about that. And I think that that's gotten perverted or twisted along the way as well. But that's the funny way I look at being seen. Like, oh my gosh, she wants to let her, like, that's cute, right? But then this more serious aspect of how it is feminine to want to be seen is that the more that you are doing good and the more people that are able to see how you're serving, there's more people that you get to serve. Does that make sense? Like, me being more seen on things is not about, look at me, hey, it's Bonnie, hey, it's Siobhan. Like, that's not what I mean. It's like, hey, see me because I know you see me in you. When I show up and I'm serving, or when I show up and I'm in my power and I'm seen by other women, that's causing them to want to raise up and be seen as well, right? So that's what I mean by that. Is a very healthy thing, and it has positive attributes to it. On the not so healthy side goes with the pity party and the attention seeking, and it doesn't do anything to serve anybody but them. That's when I view that as toxic. That's when I'm like, well, who is this serving and who is this helping? Because if all you're doing is trying to get attention for your damsel distress and behavior that's linked to you not having confidence in who you are, who is this really serving? It's not serving you because it's not helping you, and it's definitely not serving anybody else. So when I see that, I have this mechanism in me, and I wish I wasn't like this, where I like reject it. Like, I don't give it any attention. And this may be a little off topic, but ladies, you get to do the same thing in your relationships or with the masculine energy in your life. When he's showing up in a way that doesn't match either your standards or the highest expression of him, don't respond to that, right? Don't feed into that. So like, if my boyfriend was being the opposite of healthy masculine, right? Like, if he was having a pity party, and if he was just like falling to pieces, like, I'm not going to entertain that, because I went through that is when I was younger with toxic boyfriends, and they do dumb stuff, and then you just feed into it, and now you're both in a toxic loop. The way that you don't get stuck into the toxic loop is you don't engage with it. And so I'm the same way. When I see a female doing that, when she's having a pity party, having damsel in distress, and is attention seeking in a way that does not serve her highest purpose, and it doesn't serve the highest good for the collective, I don't, because I'm not going to feed into that shadow side of her. I'm not going to engage. I'm not going to perpetuate the cycle, right? Because that's what she was wanting, was attention. If you don't give it to her, she realized, now wait a minute. See? So that's what those are the things that come to mind. And there's so many others. And I hope that as I'm talking, you're seeing some of this in yourself, because we tend to, as humans, when we hear something negative, remember, shadow work, right? Shadow, like, it is a piece of you that you suppress so much that you can only see it when it's in somebody else. You can only see it when it's reflected back on you. So it is so easy for us to see the shadow aspects of our femininity and other people, point it out, talk junk about them. This is why I had to meditate before I went on today. Because I see so much woman on woman attack, woman against woman, whatever, attacks on the internet. And I'm just like, sis, who is this serving? Is this helping her? Is it helping you? Is it helping other women? If it's not, let's bring it back. Let's figure out a way that we can communicate the same idea without putting another woman down. One of the posts I saw, and I love this girl so much, she said something like, how your kids know blah, 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 but they don't know blah, 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 blah. And I remember I started to type something out, and I was like, yeah, no, don't. Because just don't engage. Don't feed into that sort of behavior. I saw another post that really irked me, and it was like, shout out to all the ladies that can get a man's attention without being half naked. Keep it classy. And my first response was, I love how you associate me being half naked with me not being classy. And this comes from a very personal, like, experience of me being at the beach and me having my thong and sleeping in the back of my own Jeep. And I woke up and I saw this lady and her family. They stopped, and she's just staring at me, looking so angry. And I could see her yelling with her, she's with her son and with her her husband, and I don't want to assume anything, but there was literally no other cars around but me and my Jeep on the thing, and I thought I could take a nap in the back of my own Jeep, but I could just see she was so aggravated by that. And so when I saw this post, I remember it hurt, because I'm like, wow, my friend is someone that would do something like that. See another woman, again, who's embodying an aspect of her femininity that you have rejected and that you haven't accepted, and so you're projecting this anger onto me or this judgment onto me. And we tend to do that, and it's, again, it's attention seeking in a way that is not uplifting to anybody else. There's so many other ways that we could go about it. But also going back to the post, like, why shout out to those ladies? Like, what are you trying to communicate? Are you trying to make the women that dress half naked, like, are you trying to make them, do you want them to dress better? Because if so, is this the most effective way of communicating that? And if not, again, what are you doing? Why are you worried about it? Those kind of things just make me mad on so many levels, and it's because it touches on the next topic I wanted to bring up, which is internalized misogyny. That is literally what I said it was on the post. I was like, this is internalized misogyny. And if this is the first time that you've heard this phrase, it's the same thing as unconscious bias, where women, instead of treating each other with grace, instead of, hey sis, let me fix your crown, instead of maybe getting to know her and hearing why she dresses half naked, because it's maybe she was suppressed her whole life and thought that her body was shameful, or maybe she didn't like her body. And so now, this is me, like, I didn't like my body. I was so embarrassed of my body, so that when I did get not a perfect body, but when I got in shape and when I got confident and when I started to feel good in my own skin, I bought the thong bathing suit and danced my black ass up and down Daytona Beach with my headphones on like nobody was watching, and it was the most liberating thing ever. And I share this story a lot. That was such a beautiful moment for me. And to know that another woman is looking at me, or would be looking at me in disgust. How dare she be free in her body? How dare she be confident? Or how dare she be out here like this, making the men sin? This is internalized misogyny, where we've been taught that the very thing that makes us beautiful, magnetic, sensual, all of the like, we're taught that it's wrong, to be ashamed of it. And you felt it, I felt it, she's felt it in a variety of ways, right? Whether it was in church, whether it's in your relationships. And I'm not saying that you have to walk around dressed like you're a streetwalker, but like, do you if you do, but what I'm saying is, you know, when you were a little girl and you wanted to put on a pair of shorts and how they told you don't do that, that's inappropriate. Like, I'm a parent, so I understand that completely. But when it's not explained to you the right way, or when it's explained to you in such a way that you should be ashamed of your body instead of, I want to keep the mystery, right? Or I'm still a young girl, that's something older, whatever. When it's explained in a way that I'm ashamed of my body, or you should be ashamed of your body, it's the worst feeling ever. And on the polar opposite side are the women that grow up ashamed of their body because it's not perfect, right? So we get shat on by society for being too developed too soon and having a lot to show and share and looking a certain way. And then we also get shamed when we're not perfect and we're overweight or we have stretch marks. And so for us to turn around and shame another woman when she's embodying her happiest self in her skin, nothing crawls up my skin worse. And if you haven't heard this story, back when I was a nun in my 20s, and I was married to the church in Jesus Christ, like I was married to the church, I lived there, and I had on one of those baseball tees. You know, the ones that are like maybe white here and then it has a different color sleeve, or maybe the sleeve is white and then you know what I'm talking about, right? Those things come up to here, right? Like it literally came up to like where this heart pendant is. And I can remember the pastor's wife coming up to me, and I love this woman. I had known her since I was a teenager, and I'm in my 20s now. I got arrested at this church more than once. No, just once. But like that's, I got history with these people. And she comes up to me, frantic, and she's like, Bonnie, you're supposed to be a leader, and you're showing cleavage. And I was like, in my head, I was trying to think back, because the way she verbalize it. It was like I had been showing it consistently. So in my head, I'm like, dang, what day was I not covered up like this? Like, I know that I'm very purposeful about it. What day could I have been? And then she goes, and even right now as I'm talking to you, you're showing cleavage. And I remember being mortified because there was really nothing there. And what I learned in my personal experience at church was to cover up at all times because you don't want to make the men sin. And as someone that had struggled to love their body their whole life, while as well-intending that message was, really didn't serve me at all. It really made me, like, if you guys have watched my social media from when I left church, like, I went from dressing like somebody's grandmother to like how you see me today. I had to do a lot of healing and a lot of like, oh wow, my body isn't a shameful, sinful ball of fat. Like, it was a lot. And so one of the things that just is so freaking toxic to me when it comes to females is body shaming, or shaming another woman for loving her body and doing what she wants to in her body. Because again, remember, what you don't accept in yourself, you reject and you project onto others. I'm so glad that I did that part very calmly, because I was 38 hot earlier. That's why I had to take my medicine and meditate, because that topic alone just like grind, like I just okay. Another area of our lives where our toxic femininity shows up, and I said this last time, but I want to give you another example, is entitlement. I know I hammered in on this on the first one, but I think of me when I was serving and I was waiting tables. And my sister waited tables too, but she didn't wait them for 15 years like I did. And so I never took her advice on this until the end of my serving career. And it was this. She said, I don't expect tips from anyone. I just serve and think I'm about to meet the next group of amazing people. Or yeah, she did it with no strings attached. And she did pretty well usually. And because I had such a negative mindset and I was hella entitled back then, and because people were always bragging about how much money they made, kind of like, I was like, well, no, I should be making this much because so-and-so said they make this much. And no, I should get a tip every time. And I wasn't like verbal about that, but that was the energy that I had. I had this entitled energy that when I didn't make good money, I'd be so mad and I'd be so just bitter all of the time. And this was like 15 years of me busting my ass and never like making as much as other people and being so bitter about it. And the funny thing is that once I went through my first like spiritual awakening, like my first personal growth, like growth spurt back in 2018, end of 2017, beginning of 2018, when my life just completely flipped. I started going into work with a grateful heart. I started going into work, I don't have time to tell that whole story, but I started going into work like, hey, you know what? I complain so much about being a waitress. I'm like, who else can make $1,500 a week and not have to work full time? Who else gets like insurance and benefits? Like, I'm at one of the best places to serve here in Orlando at a theme park. Bitch, you better be grateful. And so instead of going in so aggravated at the shit show of a restaurant that I worked at, I started going in like, what a freaking blessing it is that this is what I get to do. I get to have PTO. I get to go play at the parks for free. I get like, the more I got grateful instead of feeling entitled, that's when I started to start making easy money. Like, before it was hard money, but once I softened up and stopped feeling so entitled and really trusted that God was going to provide for me, that eased my heart so much, and I was able to go to work and I was a totally different person. I was so grateful for everything. I was like, oh my God, I got a big table. Great. Oh my gosh, I got a two top. Great. Maybe this two top, because you know, I've had people tip me better, one tops and two tops better than the 12. Like, I just, everything I found a blessing in. And then thank God I also had this too to help me get through those days. But like, still, I got so grateful, and it changed the trajectory of my life. And I started attracting more abundance in every way, shape, and form. So we've talked enough about the different versions or different manifestations of toxic femininity. It's the opposite of goddess energy. It's the shadow version, right, of all things that are beautiful and feminine, right? It's the pity parties. It's the damsels damsel in distress syndrome. It's the selfish attention seeking, always looking for sympathy for someone. Look at me, woe is me. It's the entitlement. It's the internalized misogyny, where we treat women the way that we've been treated by men, and it's like an abusive cycle, right? Think of the childhood abuse story where a kid grew up getting abused. He wakes up and he abuses his wife too, because that's all he's ever seen, right? That's what we're doing to each other when we do things like tear each other down publicly, right? You see, I want to go off on a tangent on that topic again. Okay, so how do we then, right? How do we be this embodied, healed, balanced, confident, goddess, feminine, right? Like, how do we express our divine feminine, right? How do we stand in our power without, not without, but while also being in that soft receptive mode? That's where the witchcraft comes in. So that's what, I'm so out of my element today, but that's where we're going to go at the end of this. And I'm going to give you a few ways that you can stand in your feminine power while still being in the receptive mode. Number one, the answer is not, and I'm speaking to a past version of Bonnie here, for you ladies who are thinking, okay, well, how can I not be the alpha female? Like, I'm used to having to control everything. Or like, how does that look? Does that mean that I don't get a man who's as bossy, and maybe I get a beta man, like one that's more submissive to me? Because I tried that. And the answer to that is no. The answer is no. And I know that for women that come from abusive backgrounds, it's tempting to want to partner with a beta energy man. But all that's going to do is make you have to be the masculine. That's going to keep you in your masculine mode, and it's going to be hard to receive from him because he's not the head. You are. And some people may like that, right? Like, that may work for you. But for the majority of us women, and also off of history and just history, you're going to want to be with someone that is able to match your energy, not someone that is submitting to you. Because this is how this is supposed to work. The yin and the yang is that, yes, women are supposed to submit to men, or the masculine, but the masculine's also supposed to surrender to the feminine. And I think that when most women hear getting in receptive mode, or receiving gifts from men, or being in her soft energy, it scares a lot of us because we've had to be in control for so long. But the truth is, you're not just blindly submitting to the masculine. You are submitting to someone who has also surrendered to you. And what I mean by that is, like, when the masculine has surrendered to you because you make him weak. Like, I've literally had a man it was the sweetest thing I've ever heard. And I never felt more feminine than that. I was like, he's like, you make me weak. How? And I was like, oh my goodness. That's what it's like when a masculine surrenders to you. And it is extremely hard to do while you're trying to wear the pants. It's going to be extremely hard for a strong, healthy, divine masculine to be attracted, right? And to want to surrender to you when you guys are the same. You're going to be bumping heads. So in order for you to stand in your power, yet also be in that receptive mode, my love, you're going to want to find that healthy balance in your relationships. And I know this is specifically for relationships, but the man has to surrender to your femininity so that you can submit to his masculinity. Anything besides that is going to be off balance, and it's going to be extremely hard for you to operate as you should healthily, right? There's going to be some tension. The other thing that is going to help you soften up and stand in your power while also being able to receive is holding space. Holding space for your emotions and others' emotions so that you can alchemize. Take a moment, and I want you to listen to your body and your head. What comes up for you when I say hold space for your emotions and others? Did you notice an internal resistance? This is my favorite way to teach intuition, by the way. Pay attention to your body. When I'm on meetings with the team and we talk about stuff, or like, like that, I thought of some. when I'm on meetings and we talk about stuff that just that happens, or like my eye will twitch or my stomach or something, those aren't like random spasms. You guys realize your brain and your nervous system, nerves, run through your entire body. So sometimes those involuntary twitches are your body's expression of that resistance. So pay attention. So when I say hold space for someone else's emotions and your own, what sort of response did you get? Did you feel relieved, like, oh, yeah, I do hold space? Or did it feel good to hear that phrase? Or did you feel like, I ain't holding space for nobody? For some of us that have been wounded, the idea of holding space for someone else is offensive. The idea of holding space for ourselves sounds like, oh, so you want me to hold in my emotions. You want me to suppress my emotions. When I first started doing mindset coaching and going live and talking about some of the things that I've learned on my personal development journey, I would get a lot of feedback from my friends, my feminine ladies. They'd be like, so, I was like, you need to learn to control your emotions. And they were like, so you want me to just suppress them? And I was like, no. Think Jean Grey, right? If you don't control your emotions, toxic, like, you blow up the world go bye-bye, right? But when we do harness them and control them as our superpower, magic happens. Beautiful things happen, right? And so when I say hold space for others' emotions and for your own emotions, what I'm talking about is alchemy. Because when you are able to alchemize your emotions, that is the most feminine thing that you can do, aside from like belly dancing. My God, I love it. I'm gonna take belly dancing classes. But no, being able to, and that's at a, like, if you're watching what I do and how like shit will piss me off and then I use it to create content, that's me alchemizing my anger, right? When people tell me stuff like when they told me, Bonnie, you can't run for president again because it's never been done before. And they gave me 3 excuses that were all BS. And I said, watch me. I was very mad. I was very hurt. I felt rejected. I felt all of these horrible things. And instead of going on I hate this club and men this, I was like, all right, say less. Watch me. I took that frustration and I channeled it into running a moral-based campaign, an integrity-based campaign for why I should be able to do it again. That's what alchemy looks like. But instead, what most of us do, instead of alchemizing our emotions, or the emotions that we take on from other people, the stresses from friends, from family, from your relationships, your boss, your dog, everything else in life, instead of alchemizing these emotions, they stay within us and they stay stuck, like stuck energy. Here's a fun fact. Fat cells in your body are literally energy waiting to be expressed. Why is that important? Because when you don't alchemize your pain and when you don't alchemize your emotions, what do we usually end up doing, ladies? We eat. We eat yummy foods that are usually filled with fat. So now we have all this excess fat in our body and it's literally stuck in stored energy. Energy that could be used to, I don't know, fucking dance. You guys see me dancing, and I haven't done it in a while, and I'm probably going to do it more often, but dancing is one of the most liberating things that I can do to get rid of frustration or sadness. I when I'm having a rough day, I will put on Unconditionally by Katy Perry and just do some interpretive dance in my living room. And I'll be crying and it's so beautiful. And then other times I'll put on like old reggaeton music and then I'm twerking, like it's alchemizing that pain. But when you instead take your emotions and you eat them and you stuff them down, it's literally stuck energy now within your body. So now you've got all this stuck energy that's not moving because fat is not metabolically active like muscle is. That's why people who work out have more energy, right? So we got this stuck energy. We eat. What else do? We sleep. We gossip. We drink. And we feel depressed. And it's this beautifully ugly habit loop of I'm sad, I'm mad, I'm frustrated, I don't feel seen, I don't feel heard, I don't feel supported, I want attention, I'm having a pity party, damsel in distress, so I'm gonna eat. And then, you know what, well, I'm tired, I'm just gonna watch TV on this couch while I eat this bag of potato chips and this ice cream. You know, I'm gonna call up my homegirl, we're gonna talk shit about another female. You know what, we're gonna go out and have ladies night and just talk shit about everybody at work, and oh, you come home and now I'm depressed. Do you know how much creative energy you literally have stuck within you? So the next time that you find yourself about to go down that self-sabotage rabbit hole that I just described, I want you to find ways that that energy can leave your body. Why do you guys think I deadlift 200 plus pounds? Every time I'm adding weight, it's literally like like I want, like it's literally me picking up the weight of my pain and then putting it back down, showing that I'm strong enough to carry it, but I don't have to. Strong enough, yeah, but I don't have to, right? It's also just getting that stuck energy out of my body, and you get sexier when you lift heavier. But the way to get this stuck energy out of your body, right? Laugh more. Yes, TikTok is funny, but you can get stuck on there. So why not call up a friend, a real human friend, and have some laugh conversations with them that don't involve gossip? Because gossip puts your body into a stress state. You don't realize it, because when you're talking negatively about people, I'm about to go off on a tangent. Lord, please let me come back on topic. Okay. So when you talk negatively about people, your subconscious mind, not even your subconscious mind, it takes everything at face value. And so as you sit around and negatively talk about women or other people, but for the sake of today's podcast, we'll say other women. When you sit around and talk negatively about other women, your subconscious has no frame of reference, or better put, it just takes everything that you do and say it as face value. So when it sees you with other women, trash talking other women, and when it sees you, I want you to imagine your subconscious as like a 7-year-old that's hanging out, just watching your life with just the 7-year-old's brain. And it's like, oh, when we're sad, we eat. Oh, okay. When we're sad, we sleep. Okay. And when we're mad, we talk shit on the phone with our friends. Okay. And so you're teaching it that this is what's healthy and that this is what's normal. And you wonder why it's so hard to change. And it's like, you haven't changed your environment. You haven't changed your habits. These are the people that you go to for relaxation and fun. And you wonder why you're stuck in this cycle. Like, if they're doing that kind of stuff, then, and you've been doing this for years too, your subconscious brain, the part of your brain that controls 95% of your actions, it thinks that this is business as usual. And that's why it is so important to become aware when we're doing these things. Because if you tell your subconscious brain every single day that this is how we behave when we're sad or mad, this is what it believes. It has no framework. You're the boss. It's like, all right, noted. Because its job is to make your life easier by automating processes. So if it knows, hey, when she's sad, we eat, you don't have to think about it. It's an action that you don't have to think about. And that's why habits are so hard to break, because people try to do it another way. All right, I'm back from my tangent, back on feminine energy, how to alchemize your emotions. Whew, it took me too long to get warmed up in this podcast. I'm sorry for that first 5 or 10 minutes. I was high out of my mind. We're back. The way that you alchemize this, laugh, call a friend, right? Don't just sit on your ass and scroll through TikTok. I need you to get up, I need you to get out, I need you to laugh, and maybe watch your favorite movie, something. Move. I talked about dancing, talked about lifting weights. You can do yoga. Like, I know y'all don't see me doing yoga, but I'm not against it. Like, we're going to do it on the retreat, okay? Like, get out of my face. Do some freaking yoga if that's how you like to move. You don't have to lift weights like me, unless you want to be sexy. Next, create something. If you don't think you're that creative, start with some journal entries. Create a little storybook or something, right? Color, paint. I remember when I was depressed, I started getting adult coloring books, and I just started coloring, right? Maybe go buy some paint and actually paint. Get a dry erase board. Something. Go to Joann's. No, that's fabrics. Go to Michael's Crafts, the Hobby Lobby, right? Google some kind of arts and crafts, something to take your mind off of it, right? Some of us, we get carried away and we're like, oh, I'll create, and we go make a baby. No, that's not how you alchemize your pain and your emotions. Create, okay? Next, go garden, go sew, go sing, go dance. Go do something to get that stuck energy out of your body. Because at the end of the day, what it means to be in your healthy, your not toxic feminine energy is to be in flow. Getting sad and eating, getting sad and sleeping and drinking and not moving, that's not being flow. That's just not moving at all. That's stagnant. You weren't meant to be stagnant, my love. You were meant to be beautiful. You were meant to be free. You're meant to have creative energy. You're meant to be playful. A lot of us haven't played in a long time. We wonder why we're so rigid and masculine. You haven't played in a long time. Go play. Go do something that you like. If you're able to, go climb a tree, which is why I stress exercise. It makes moving a lot easier, right? Whew, that was a lot for today. And I still have pages and pages of notes, but I don't want to overwhelm. I feel like I've been talking long enough, and I hope that what I said today was a blessing for somebody who needs to hear this. Because at the end of the day, the only way that we're going to make this world that we are bringing children into a better place is starting with us. Not by putting other women down, not by blaming men. I told someone last night, I was on a Zoom, a networking Zoom, and we were talking, and he said something that kind of hit me the wrong way. And my response to him was, I'm not here to like play by their rules anymore. Like, I'm here to create a space for us where we can feel okay, where we can feel free. And that to me is what's most important. Like, I'm not here to get a seat at the table anymore. I'm here to build my own table. I'm not here to get in the room anymore. I'm here to create my own room. And the more ladies that we're able to do that, the more you'll see more balance restored, right? I think it's coming back to me now what I said. We were talking about gender gaps. And he said that's something, the gender pay gap, that he didn't really understand. And he said something, and I was like, oh, no. I was like, that's still a problem, sir. And I was like, but instead of complaining about it, I'm going to build my own table. I'm going to build my own room. Instead of protesting that they raise women's wages, which may or may not be beneficial, I'm just going to start an empire and hire women and pay them their worth. Boom. That's how I'm solving that. And we won't be able to take initiative and do things like that until we can heal our wounds and we can stand in our power and we can truly embody what it is to be a divine feminine goddess. And that's a show. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you got value from today's podcast, do me a favor and write a review or leave me a 5-star review, or my favorite, screenshot it, post it to your stories, and tag me at Siobhan Bons on Instagram. Also, don't forget, we got a freebie library with at least 6 masterclasses and workshops that you can dig into right away and get insane value and get some breakthrough. Not everybody needs a month-long or like 6-month course. Sometimes you just need a little quick reset. So all of this will be in the show notes. I'll drop the link in the comments. I love you guys to the moon and back. Until next time, peace. Thank you so much for being here on Instagram, by the way. Love you guys.